Ladies and gentlemen, damen und herren, mesdames et messieurs, welcome to another exciting episode of the Vincent Charles Project. And thank you for joining me on this lovely Sunday evening. We have a great deal to talk about, so we're gonna cut some corners. We're just gonna go right to the introductions. First of all, we've got you know him, you love him, ultra Soviet biker dad. he just
Darling, it's
he just
wonderful to be here.
he just changed the name as I was. Oh, we're starting off with a bang. Yeah. And dude, I'm not even gonna ask you how you're doing. You're doing excellent, obviously, if you're coming up with that shit. Next we've
No
got
one can stand against the combined forces of Stalin and Lenin, darling.
oh, you're killing me. Oh Jesus. Oh, Ordy, come and save me.
Fucking scarred, dude. This was, yeah, it transcended bad and good. It's a thing that exists in our universe, and
Oh,
we are richer for it.
it was absolutely amazing. Jeff, Calvin, come on in, guys. We may as well just kick this shit off.
Yeah, it was something, all right.
Okay, I've been waiting all day to say this
I-
because it's true.
I've never.
Um,
I mean, even I gotta say, even Rings of Power isn't quite as painful as this was to get.
No, this was
to.
far
Rings of Power just
superior,
makes me mad. This just made me want to do drugs.
and that's a good thing. That's why I say this is infinitely better than Rings of Power and Peter Jackson's version of The Hobbit. But we won't go into that. But the one thing, and it's interesting that you brought up drugs. The one thing that I can compare this to is if well, everybody in the audience, you can do this as well. Go to YouTube and look up Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But don't look up Elton John's version. Look up William Shatner's version. Because this is 2 hours of a William Shatner video. And once you say, you'll know what I'm talking about. And Calvin is back. Okay.
I came up with an analogy for this while I was watching it, and not to step on Jeff's toes with space stuff here, but it during the Cold War, during the space race, there's a story of how NASA spent $1 million in 3 years to develop a ballpoint pen that worked in space, and the Soviets used a pencil. If the 1981 Lord of the Rings cartoon is the $1 million space pin, this was the pencil.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Oh,
Sorry, there. I had an audio issue for a second. I had to quit and come back in.
no worries. Do what you got to do. But this,
No,
especially
cast him into the fires of Mordor.
you're saying it wrong. More.
glitter.
More. Roll your
Just
R's.
don't send Soviet Gollum after me.
Oh, Jesus. Soviet Golem look like that picture I post on occasion. There's this pug in a frog costume, and he's fucking adorable. And I need to put, as a matter of fact, y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to post that on X.
So where do we start with this? Do we just start at the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely, because there's nowhere else you can start.
It's a very good place to start.
I mean, well, we got to start off talking about USSR Tolkien, the narrator.
Yes. I will stare at the camera when I wish.
See, and
And for no reason.
He started out doing his job. He was narrating, he was setting the scene and everything. As the movie progresses, they would just cut to him lighting his pipe, and then go back to the action.
Oh, this is the Russian combination of Gary Oldman and Ron Swanson.
Yes, and he was, by about 30 minutes in, he's at least 4 bottles of vodka in.
Oh God, yeah.
But they had to soft focus in on the candle every time they switched away from him. Though.
And the other thing too was the camera work in it because for most of it, and I don't know if this was the because this was kind of like found by Channel 5 in what used to be Leningrad.
Right.
I don't know if they're if like something had gotten on the camera lens and they had just wiped it off with a rag that had just been used to spread cosmoline over a whole bunch of SKSs that were going into storage. But that fog circle in every
Yeah, and that Fox, they were like smearing Vaseline on the lens, like they do in like those like late 90s Cinemax After Dark films, to give it like that kind of atmosphere. And all it did was just give you like a bunch of J.J. Abrams type lens flares from any light source. And yeah, it was absolutely horrible. But
Yeah, I
I
felt like I was
suppose it was
watching
an aesthetic
watching
choice.
a 90s era Cher video.
Oh, Jesus.
pre-auto tune.
Yes. And let's get it right. It's not Ring of Power. It's Ring of Omnipotence, according to closed captions.
Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of the captions out there. And mine said Master Ring.
Oh, God.
Well, it toggled. Like in the beginning, it was the Ring of Omnipotence, and then it was the Master Ring, and then they just like couldn't settle in on a.
I think they did say one ring at least one time.
Now,
but
see,
I-
the
yeah.
version that I watched, I mean, I posted that one link.
Yeah.
But the
That's what
translation was so horrible. But because it's one of those ones, like when you're watching like a live event on YouTube and you've got like the scrolling translations and the scrolling credit. And I was like, no, there's got to be a better version. So I found the 2-part version that was actually in 720p, which was a good transfer.
Well,
And the translation was a little bit better. So I just watched that one.
Oh,
Well,
the Finnish translation was hilarious.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, since we're on translations and subtitles and shit like that, one of my favorites is, okay, so this was an English copy of the Two Towers, but it had been subtitled in Chinese, and the Chinese kids decided to subtitle it back into English, and they did not do it very well. So you're hearing the English that we all know, but the words at the bottom are just so off base. And my favorite one is during the Warg attack in Two Towers, and Gimli goes, "Bring your pussy face to my ass."
Oh, Jesus.
Gotta love localization.
Oh, God. And you've got to get a screenshot and post it.
Bring your pussy face to my ass.
But yeah, and Soviet Golem is on the feed. As
Yes.
adorable as he is. Well, no, not really, but that's much better than Soviet Golem. But oh my God, what an absolute tire fire of a show! It's like Orty said, it's good because when you look at it, you can tell even the shitty production quality and the filming and every other damn thing. You look at it and you can tell that these people, regardless, they're having a blast making this. They
And
are.
I'll give them credit. Unlike Amazon, the Russians actually had read Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Right.
Even Tolkien was very strict about what he would, let it be translated into, and there was no official Russian translation until like the mid 90s. But this was a close approximation, and yeah. Also, apparently, the cast didn't know that they had to pay royalties for this.
Oh, really?
Oh shit! Which is probably why they never worked again.
Did you all watch the review of it by Pentex Productions?
I did.
No, I haven't
Yeah,
seen.
It's really funny. You should watch it. I can share the link. But at the very beginning, he compares it to Roger Ebert's review of Human Centipede. And what Roger Ebert said What Roger Ebert said about Human Centipede was, I am required to award stars to movies I review. This time, I refuse to do it. The star rating system is unsuited to this film. Is the movie good? Is it bad? Does it matter? It is what it is and occupies a world where the stars don't shine. And the Pentex guy's like the same thing. He's like, yeah, okay, it's horrible, but if you want to review it, that's kind of like the wrong question. You just have to take it in and be like, what Lovecraftian nightmare have I just wandered into?
So are we watching it on this stream or?
I don't think so. Can you show it like on mute just so that people can see some visuals? I don't know if we can do that.
I have no idea. I am completely ignorant of software limitations for Restream, and I need to correct that. I'm sure you could show something, but I have absolutely no idea how to do it. But I think we can probably drop links into the chat.
Yeah, here I'll put the link for the review in the chat because it's really funny.
I would have thought that a great idea would have been for us to sit here and actually watch it while on with the audience and sort of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction I want to go with this, is to be able to show movies like this, like hidden gems, and then just watch them with the people in chat and then just riff the living shit out of them.
Yeah.
Jem is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
We'll plan for that for the Soviet Hobbit.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Because fortunately that's a lot shorter than the Lord of the Rings. I think the Hobbit is only slightly more than an hour long. But it's, oh my god, the guy in the suit showing up at the beginning. I'm like, the hell? What am I watching? And Raptor's here.
And then we move on to the party.
Oh my god.
Oh.
You know, I do want to give praise to one thing during this movie, and that is to Russia's Danny Elfman.
Frodo?
No, to the composer Andrei Romanoff.
Right.
To think he was in the band Aquarium, which is one of the big bands that kick off the Russian rock movement in the early 70s.
Oh, Jesus.
And he does this.
Oh my god, the Ring Race theme music was just, it was straight out of Escape from New York and the Warriors. It was just awesome.
That's
My
so
god,
broad.
seriously, they're riding the horses. I thought like Tangerine Dream was scoring the movie.
Legends can be now and forever.
Oh god damn
by
you!
the sun.
Oh god damn you! Don't ever sing that. Oh, that's it.
Well, I just loved the Hobbit music being used anytime they were on the screen. Running in Moria, Hobbit music.
Right. Escaping pure death at the hands of the Ring Race. Just play the happy, jaunty music.
Well, it's, it may have sounded like Tangerine Dream, but thank God it really wasn't Danny Elfman. So you can get like Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman. His name is his music. Oh, Jesus.
The thing I loved most about the party was the fact that Lobelia got more lines in this than Gimli and Legolas did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did they have any lines? I don't think Legolas did, because I heard she was the woman. Of course,
Don't ruin
Legolas
that
is played
yet.
by a woman.
Oh,
Which
you-
don't
you
ruin that yet. Okay, we'll
No.
get to that.
Yeah. I got something to say about Legolas.
Yeah, I think we all have something to say about that, and yeah, we'll get to it.
Sorry for the spoiler that she's
No,
played,
no.
by a woman, but we'll get to the rest of it later. But yeah, I don't think they had any lines, did they?
No.
I have to say that whole scene, as much as I know the story, I was so flippin' confused.
It was the
Just that whole
firework.
interaction where she's nagging him about spending his wealth.
Like the
Yeah.
only one I really knew who was Lobelia. Everyone else, I'm going, can you put little name tags over their heads, please?
Merry and Pippin looked very similar. It was the glass. You had to differentiate them by the glasses.
Yeah, because they had the same mutton chops.
Mutton chops and mullets. That's a very strange aesthetic choice, but hey.
Oh, and to set the scene for those of you who didn't watch it, the mutton chops and the mullets, they were tack-ons. These were not real.
Oh God, yes.
They were wigs, and they were you know. It's not like they grew out the mutton chops for this. They just had them slapped on the side of the head like some sticky pork chops.
Yeah, and if you watch if you find the 2-part version on YouTube, which I suggest you do, because it was in, like I said, in 720p, you can see the puckering and the lines, and they didn't apply the makeup very well. So,
and what the hell was the one Hobbit's eyebrows?
Oh, jeez.
I was expecting a McDonald's commercial, for Christ's sake.
I was expecting one looking at Frodo. Jesus, Frodo the Russian ginger. This is fucking awesome.
With the blonde sticking out underneath.
Right.
I now understand where Amazon got their feminine character from. It was just Frodo.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the one consistent thing across all the movies that I never picked up reading the books, is that Frodo is just this effeminate little weasel.
Right. Elijah Wood was downright heroic compared to the Russian one.
Right. He was like Stallone levels of
Right.
of masculinity.
Another thing I didn't notice until I watched a review is the furry boots they had on. Those were supposed to be their feet. They were supposed to be barefoot.
Oh, that's just fucking horrifying.
Now I have to watch this review. Oh my god.
Not just that. Apparently, lost in the translation from Gerald Hogan, in Russian, feet and legs are kind of the same word, and that's why the furry feet went up to the knees.
Oh man.
Oh Jesus.
So yeah, I thought they were just like boots until the old man in the willow scene.
Yes.
Those are intentionally supposed to be the furry feet. Got it. Because you couldn't really see the 3 toes they had. Pointing out like sleeve stack fingers.
Oh Jesus. But what people really need to know, I mean, we're ragging on the hobbits and everything, but when we get to the rest of the fellowship, expectations are subverted. And I mean sub-verted. Oh Jesus. Let's talk about Gandalf. Yeah. Let's talk about Gandalf. William Smith as Conan's father, Gandalf. Because that's exactly who he looked like. I saw him and I'm like, holy shit, William Smith got work in Russian movies? And no, it's a different guy.
I never pictured Gandalf with a handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
And that perfect. Who was it who said it the other day? The Rip Taylor hair.
Yes.
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 It's kind of weird. It's like a 90s version of a page boy haircut.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys remember what the page boy haircut looks like, you know, like those old Prince Valiant comic strips. It's kind of like a poofy bowl cut is the best way to describe it, and that's what he had, and it was horrifying and mesmerizing at the same time. It's just this film is a lava lamp. You cannot stop watching it.
Yeah, this was Gandalf. It is the Grey Goose, is what I imagine him as.
Because yes, they were pounding the vodka down when they were making this movie. Apparently, The thing is, I was reading yesterday.
Yeah.
The thing that I was reading about this is that all of the actors in this film were well known in Soviet film and television, and apparently they were working on this project in their spare time. So
Really?
most of this was filmed like
Yes.
after hours, because these people would like go to work during the day, they'd work until like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then they'd film at night and during the weekends. And none of them got paid for this, which is why, I'm like, you got to give them respect for it. I mean, if they're doing all this in their free time
Yeah.
and making this gloriously shitty of a movie, and because I mean, seriously, this is everybody who watches who listens to this podcast and who follows me on Twitter knows of my passion for really shitty movies, and this exceeds all expectations. This is top tier. This has to go in my top 10 of gloriously bad movies.
Man.
It does. I mean, this is on the level of Champagne and Bullets. R.I.P. Wings Hauser. Watch that movie on Tubi. I just posted it a little while ago. But yeah, this is Champagne and Bullets level filmmaking.
I saw that link. I bookmarked
And
that. I'll have to watch it sometime this week.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, dude. Wings gives the performance of a lifetime. He had to have been drunk during the entirety of filming, because this is either he was really drunk or he was a better actor than we gave him credit for.
Embrace the power of and.
Yes, absolutely. And the computer went off. Well, no, the graphics went off. Okay. But I'm going to head outside and have a cigarette. Why don't you guys come with me?
Let's do that.
Let's step outside.
This was 2 hours.
Glorious evening.
You know that famous Bollywood scene with the woman shooting the man in the gut? You know the one?
Oh no, that wasn't Bollywood. That was a Turkish film.
Okay.
Karate something.
Yeah, that
Karate Girl.
Yes,
something.
that's right.
But yeah, look on YouTube. Look on YouTube for Karate Girl worst death scene ever.
Yes,
and you will actually it'll come up.
And this is 2 hours of that.
Oh.
But while we're talking about Gandalf, how about those fireworks?
Those were some of the best special effects I've ever seen in my life.
The clip art graphic. Oh my god.
Oh Jesus! These effects. Weta Workshop, kiss my ass. You can't touch these people.
Again, for those who didn't see it, the fireworks that Horty is referring to here consist of Gandalf opening his robe, and then the scene cuts to just clip art of like fireworks on top of his robe. Still
static
shot.
clip art.
Static clip
of
art.
static.
And there's like 2 or 3 of them, and then he closes his robe, and the whole party starts applauding. And
I saw this scene, and my first thought was, how the fuck did they beat us to space?
Graphic design is their passion.
Oh my god!
It was.
I think that's probably the first indication of real. I mean, everything is weird up until then, but that's the first indication of who.
Oh, we're in for a ride, boys.
This is going to be a hell of a ride.
And I got to admit, also the other part of when they did the robe and the fireworks, I went back to KLRN's Christmas play when "Touch My Robe."
If I'm remembered for anything in my life, it will be for the delivery of that line. Because I was really drunk doing that show.
That was really...
As I am with most of our shows.
Well, also with Gandalf was what was it? Decursing.
Show your hole.
Mesmerizing whatever he did to Bilbo when Bilbo didn't want to give up the ring, just standing up and throwing his fingers at the wall over
Yes.
It was What's it was Wayne's World.
Oh no, I just thought of the perfect analogy. This, I told you before that this is like a 2 hour long William Shatner video. This isn't. This is a 2 hour version of Worker and Parasite from The Simpsons. Do you remember that?
What the hell was that?
Exactly.
I can't do a crusty voice, but
Yeah, neither can I. Because I'm smoking and I'd probably choke to death if I attempted it. But yeah. Oh my God. Worker and Parasite. Goddamn-lutely.
Yeah, there's nothing about this film I liked. Nothing. I'm sorry. Other than its horridness. That's the only redeeming quality is it's that bad.
Oh, you got to admit, you kind of had to like it when the credits showed because that means you were done.
Free.
And you were hoping the Russians didn't have a you were hoping the Russians didn't have a penchant for end credit scenes like the Marvel movies.
I was surprised there wasn't a little bit more like Russian propaganda inserted into the story. Maybe because they did it right as the Soviet Union was falling, but
I think much like with the animated version of Lord of the Rings, that's why it ended there. I mean, I don't know what Warner Brothers' excuse was. I think they just didn't have the rights to make the second part. But with this one, this is weeks before the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was like this was late 1991,
Yeah.
I think, when they made
It
this.
was like April, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah, April 91.
So it's like this came out in this hit the tellies in March, and then by a couple months later, there was no Soviet Union.
Yeah. Lobelia a little bit, maybe.
Otherwise, we would have had the Two Towers and Return of the King.
Oh God. Oh, I want to see them film the Helm's Deep battle so badly, and Treebeard. I really want to see Treebeard.
The battle at Helm's Deep would have been a dance number, and you know it.
Oh. See, the thing is, though, when you look at this and you see the quality of the production and all this stuff, it's not indicative of Russian filmmaking. I mean, Russians have made some very, very, very good movies, propaganda-laden as they are, but they've made some of the best movies ever made. And one that immediately comes to mind, and you can watch it on Tubi. It's called Ilya Muromets, and it's about an old Ukrainian hero from the 1500s, I believe. And it's just Ilya Muromets killing dragons and just doing all kinds of manly shit, fighting against the Tugars and defending beloved Kiev and all this shit. But when you watch the film, I mean, it was made in the 50s, but it doesn't look like it. I mean, it looks like something fairly, I'm not going to say super modern, but it looks like it would have been made like the mid 70s to early 80s. And there's a lot of panoramic shots. It's beautiful cinematography. The acting is not up to scratch, and some of you may have already seen it because they riffed it on Mystery Science Theater 3000. It was The Sword and the Dragon.
Oh, okay.
And if you've seen that episode, the best line is, "This is the best tasting sword ever," when he kisses his sword. And it turns out Elia's son looks like Michael Keaton, and he really does. It's like Michael Keaton with a bad blonde wig, and it's fucking amazing. And it's on Tubi. You need to watch it. It's good. It's worth your time,
Now,
definitely.
I know we're busting, and I'll definitely add that to the list. I know we're busting a lot on this movie, but I am glad I got to understand there were two words in the English language that doesn't get translated to Russian, and that was forced perspective. Because what the hell was Tom Bombadil and Coldberry?
Why are they so huge?
I don't know where they got that Tom Bombadil was a giant in this.
And I think giant is
wanted to figure that
underselling
out
it.
too.
And why wasn't he wearing a blue coat? Goddammit! That's part of his thing.
But yeah, they didn't even try for the audience's perspective. They didn't even try and make the hobbits look smaller anywhere else in the film, but at dinner with Tom Bombadil and Goldberry.
Right. And so when Goldberry gets introduced in it's, I don't know if this was just something with the person doing the subtitles is just like reading straight out of the book or whatever. But Tom Bombadil saying, "Oh, and here's Goldberry dressed in silver and green." That's Orange and Black, dude. She's dressed in orange and black. But
and we learned that all Russians are colorblind. Yeah.
Let's give them credit for putting them in the film, at least.
Yes,
Peter Jackson.
That goes without saying.
But you know what the worst part to me about that whole scene was? Like, 10 minutes later, we see a way hotter Hobbit than Goldberry. Couldn't they have switched the actresses' roles here a little?
Oh, when they were at the Prancing Pony, or when they were at the inn in Hobbiton?
Either one, I think it was the
Both
same.
of them,
yeah. The one at the
looking for how I always say the greatest trick the Eastern Bloc ever played on the West was that they convinced the West that all Eastern Bloc women were unattractive. So I kept looking for okay, where are the smoke shows? And it's like, okay, kind of cute, but not smoke show. So yeah, I kept peeping for it, but they never really materialized.
No, that was when the Barrow-wights showed up.
Okay.
So okay,
we just talk
about
the
Barrow-wight
chick that they dubbed over a man's voice to.
Yeah, I
kept her screams.
Except for it had female screams, but a man's voice. And furthermore, she's just kind of like her torso is just like horizontal the whole time.
Yeah, she's just like twisting and all this stuff, and I'll admit I was horrifyingly aroused, but yeah,
so many awkward boners.
Again, a little bit of credit. They did get some of that scene right because they were lying there with the sword laid across them. I think they had it laid across their feet, but with holding candles. Like, you obviously paid attention to the book, right? So a few points there, but the execution was just, I don't know. That was just, I couldn't tell if that was a man or a woman. So thank you for clearing that up for me.
It was a lot more vague than the character we're talking about later.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole sequence with Tom Bombadil and Tom Bombadil saving them from the Barrow-wights, and I mean, it's something we always lamented we didn't get in the Peter Jackson movies.
V.O. Jackson apology.
Well, do we though? Yeah, that's fine.
No, I will never apologize to Peter Jackson because of the fucking elf dwarf love story in The Hobbit.
He needs to be hanged by his little.
He can kiss the darkest part of my lily white ass for coming up with that shit.
Yeah, don't even bother anal bleaching for him.
Absolutely.
I think there's a parallel between Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, The Hobbit, and George Lucas, Star Wars, and George Lucas prequels. It's 20 years later. I'm going to make a shit ton of money. I don't really care about the story. Just throw in whatever you want in there and I'll justify it somehow.
Yeah, because he was saying, well, I was going to do it with 2 movies, but the studio wanted 3. It's like, no, fuck you. You wanted 3 because you wanted the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you lie to me, you bastard.
And how about when the hobbits get eaten by the tree and the arms come out and grab?
And that whole sleep thing, do sleep. Which is the
made
same
me think of the hands from
Labyrinth to get the tree to sleep. It's like that whole scene could have just been just say sleep. They could have just skipped everything else. Just 5 minutes of saying sleep.
Sleep.
They just didn't have to change the scenery.
Yeah.
It's like Dr. Orpheus from the Venture Brothers. It's like, sleep! Byron Orpheus, best sorcerer ever. I'm
Oh
sorry.
man, I missed that show. I haven't watched it in a long time. It's great. Just so great if you love superhero stuff. Ah. Should we move on to Aragorn?
Yes, yes, we have to. We have to move on to the rest of the fellowship. Yes, definitely.
So we're in Bree now.
And,
Oh, yeah. Okay. So going back though, because throughout this they have been chased by the Black Riders. Well,
In snow.
in snow. Okay. So when they leave the Shire,
same scene used many, many
Yeah.
well,
times.
not just that they could only afford 3 horses at once. Apparently,
They shot 30 seconds of 3 horses running in the snow, and they used that bit of footage to the maximum.
yeah. Down the road that it just had
Absolutely.
one of those Soviet SSBN trucks that has the portable missile launchers. The tire tracks are in along with just like, okay, so we're coming out of the Shire in a medieval fantasy setting, and there's tire tracks going down this road. Big ones too, like a tractor. Not like
Yeah, that was too funny. The tire tracks in the snow.
That was Grand. They were
Couldn't
just
find
rolling.
anywhere else.
Dropped on the way to the Shire.
Oh, Jesus. They had to stop off and get fuel.
So not only could they only afford 3 horses at once, because when the hobbits are on their horses and ponies, it's 2 brown horses and a white horse. When it's the Black Riders, it's 3 dark brown horses, not actually the black horses, because those weren't sourced in the area. And if they needed to, like in this scene, okay, so there's 3 horsemen, 3 Black Riders looking for them. Okay, cool. And then, well, here's supposed to be all 9 of them. So they looped the same 30 seconds 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
9 walking by.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I can't stop thinking of Grand. He can do 300 hectares on one tank full of kerosene. Put it in H.
Okay, so now we're in Bree.
Oh wait, just real quick before we get to Bree, I did enjoy the part about right before they left the Shire, where it's a nice little set that they used and everybody's happy. And Gandalf's like to Frodo, "Yeah, it's warm here, but everywhere else in Middle Earth it's winter." Because of course they're in Russia, so everywhere has to be winter.
It's like, oh, it's warm, it's summer, it's lovely, and then
He actually said the words, "Winter is coming."
Yes.
And they walk like 20 meters down the road. Next thing you know, there's like 6 inches of snow on the ground. It's like, okay, we're doing this now.
Which
All
tells
right,
us
cool.
that George R.R. Martin ripped that off from this, because this
Exactly.
predates
Yep.
Song of Ice and Fire by about 10 years.
Yep.
Nothing that man does surprises me. So yeah, except of course finish a series of books. But yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Bree.
So Bree. Frodo proceeds to get shit-faced and make.
Is this where we had the opera singer?
Yes.
Okay.
The only attractive woman in this whole thing.
Yes.
Because a joyous song in Bree is opera.
Yeah, it's funny because the lyrics on the captions are the Cow Jumped Over the Moon song that is from the books, right? But it doesn't sound like a jaunty dance tune, but
it sounded like a fucking dirge. Seriously.
But Frodo didn't care. He
Like
wants
you
to
sing
have
it,
fun and get drunk.
Tragedy she's singing. Kill the hobbit,
Exactly.
kill the hobbit, kill the hobbit, till dead.
Oh, my precious, you're so lovely.
Yes, I know it. I can't help it. Oh, precious, be my ring.
And then Frodo disappears off camera, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Because poof the ring.
Bow, 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 bow.
X, say the right.
But so what confused me about this scene is that Frodo basically becomes drunk and a jerk. And then when they're up in the room, he kind of like manhandles Aragorn a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, considering how big Aragorn was, yeah, anybody could have
Right.
manhandled him. He was not the most masculine.
Oh, but
of-
he had that
Frodo was
scar.
this weak
Scar,
little
though.
fucking ball of quivering goo in every instance up until Aragorn. I think there was some offset drama there.
What's funny about that is that because it's kind of a stage-like production, when Frodo's reading the letter from Gandalf that says Strider's real name is Aragorn. Sorry, I can't roll my R's very well, but Aragorn's in the same room with him while he's reading the letter out loud, and then he's like, "Tell me your real name." It's like, I just heard you say it, dude.
See, all the while, Bartleman Butterbur is standing there in the room with him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Oh man.
And the letter was just basically some vellum artwork that they just pulled off of out of the frame in the other room.
It's like
And
a
just kinda like, okay,
tapestry.
roll this up, make it look like a scroll. Because it's like what he's reading from, you're looking at it's like, well, that just looks like every painted Russian egg doll I've ever seen.
Gandalf bought the expensive paper.
Right. And coated it within the nested dolls.
Oh man.
Aragon, I can't roll my R's either. I mean, it's they all turned Spanish for pronouncing his name.
Aragorn.
Yeah, apparently he's got a big, wicked, nasty scar on his face for some reason.
That thing looks like a festering sore.
no,
not
I
a
was gonna say, it looked like someone like smeared a turd on his face or something like that. It didn't really look like a scar. Looked like he got some schmutz on his face.
You know when you're putting ketchup on a hot dog and you shake it up to make sure the ketchup, it looks like it squirted on his face.
Right.
It
Yes.
did not look like anything else.
Giggity.
Someone got really into the borscht.
Just rub some red cabbage on his face and make him look tough.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to wait in line 9 hours for these beets, by God, I'm gonna fucking use them.
Right. And this
Nice.
was
Yeah.
this was Act 1. I mean, this was the first hour. Getting the
We have
breeze.
now reached. Yeah. When was the break? Was in the Barrow Downs, right? I think.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was.
remember.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
break was in the Barrow Downs, right when they exposed the white.
Right.
Oh.
Right. That's right. I couldn't. I mean, it's all just kind of a blended nightmare.
And then
so
we
I
had
don't know.
wait.
It was the thumbnail for the
At this point, did Gandalf go to see Saruman?
Unbeknownst to us,
Yeah.
he was visiting Saruman, and he talks about that visit later at the Council
Okay.
of Eldar.
Yeah, because we'll
Which, ooh, boy.
yeah, I'll talk about Saruman later. Yeah.
And then
Yes.
they just kind of rushed the whole thing from Bree to Rivendell with a weird stabbing scene.
So, well, the thing, yeah, that's so. Yeah, after pledging his allegiance to Frodo, Aragorn says, "With my life or my death, I will defend you." They get to Weathertop. The rider just stabs Frodo. Nobody's around. Which reminded me of something else. I repressed it. Going back to the very beginning, Frodo is the worst whittler I have ever seen. He's not carving anything. He's sticking the knife into the twig, and I'm amazed there weren't injuries on this set of just that knife flying out. But
Maybe that's where Strider got his injury.
There you go. That was the off-camera drama.
Why was Frodo whittling? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know, but I mean,
Because the
literally in
script,
that scene,
the s-
he looked like Simple Jack.
yeah, the,
Knife.
the script demanded that he whittle. So
It humanizes him.
He went full retard when he was whittling,
Don't we all just whittle?
just a little bit.
Only in private, unless I get paid.
That's Willie time.
Not that we're really holding this movie to the lore or anything, but it was kind of weird that the ringwraiths all were brandishing fire when that's
Yes,
actually
yes.
their worst enemy.
Yeah.
As far as mistakes this movie made, that's probably a minor one, but it stood out to me.
Our electric budget is shot for this week. What can we do? I know. Let's have them wield torches.
What I found weird about all that was that the Ring Riders had torches out whenever in broad daylight, whatever.
Yeah,
But in Moria, the Fellowship had matches. Walking around.
because Boromir had that votive candle.
Oh God, Boromir. Oh God.
Boromir, the used Lada salesman.
This bad boy can fit so many babushkas in it.
You know the worst part is I looked at Boromir going, "Oh my God, this is the guy that's funding all of this."
Yeah, he was probably the producer.
No, the producer was or no, I'm sorry, the director was Natalia Sarabrayakova. Yes, I looked it up before the show.
Oh,
the
well,
legendary Natalia Sabrayakova.
Yes,
That is a female name, right?
Yes.
allegedly.
with an A at the end. Yes.
Yes. But,
Put
oh
it
my
in
God,
H.
That means that there's actually a Russian name for Olg.
I'm sorry. The most Russian I know is Mamushka.
yeah.
Thank you, Kate Bush.
Oh, dude, what the weird thing is, it's I watch this and I can't help thinking there's this grocery store that I go to. It's 3 towns over. It's about a 25-minute drive from here, and it's completely filled with Russians because Philadelphia has a very large Russian population,
Mhm.
and you can get if it's sold in Eastern Europe, you can get it here. But the awesome thing is all of the guys, all of the old people who work there, they've got prison tattoos, they've got steel dentures. These guys were in the mafia, and you look at them and you're like side eyeing them as you walk by, and it's like, do you speak English? He's like, I speak English. It's like, do you guys have kvass? He's like, do we have kvass? Of course we have. And he grabs you and walks you over to where the kvass is. And basically, kvass is it's kind of like beer, but it's like less alcoholic. But they make it out of rye bread and it has a very distinct flavor, and it's really good. You should try it. But there's like 50 different varieties on it. It's like, here, this is kvass. You buy this kind, and he hands me a bottle. These people are awesome. I fucking love them. I don't know how these people on the movie were, but the Russians that I know, they're pretty fucking awesome. Anyway, and that was now back to the show.
So after Weathertop, nothing really happens until we reach Rivendell. Apparently, they
God.
tried to simulate the horses at the river, and basically it was just the 9 riders going back to Mordor for no good reason. And
At least Arwen wasn't in this.
Wasn't there like a repeated shot of a waterfall too?
Yes.
Yes, there was.
Oh yeah, I might have drifted off during that section of the movie.
When I was watching this, I was tempted to take notes, and about 5 minutes in, I'm like, no, it wouldn't do any good.
No,
So
no.
I just stopped.
I legit 10 minutes in switched my closed captions to Finnish, just because it was more fun that way.
Oh, Jesus.
I probably got more of the real story than what I did if I would have watched the American captions.
Okay, so what you're telling me is when we watch the Finnish version of Lord of the Rings, we should put the translation to Russian.
Probably.
Oh, Jesus. You people are killing me.
And then, of course, in Rivendell, we get the true, like, really cowardly Frodo. It's like, I'm hurt. My shoulder hurts. I want to go home. I don't want to do this anymore.
That probably wasn't acting. That was probably the actor just bitching.
Right? Like, this film is just, I'm done.
So
They're not paying me.
So it's like in the Wormhole Extreme episode of SG-1 when the guy playing Dr. Daniel Jackson gets hit with the foam boulder and he's just like, stop, because they just kept throwing him at him, and he's like gets hurt or something, and he gets all pissed off and storms off the set. This was after the stabbing. The writer must have accidentally, like, kind of nicked him or something with the aluminum foil sword. It's all
And
pissed off.
SG-1 drink.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get to the big elephant in the room here in a little bit, but
Well,
Gimli.
All of it.
Gimli, yeah, right?
Gimli.
The giant mama kill in the room.
Yeah.
Gimli makes a good table.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is a Russian film. Is mama kill?
I seriously had no clue who half these characters were. I really, it was, like, did Gimli have a beard?
No.
Gimli's entire costume was a Spirit Halloween Store's devil cape over his head.
I was thinking lawn gnome.
That too.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And he wasn't shorter than the rest of them, but they wanted him to be, so he was always hunched over. And then they used him as a table. He was
the most he did in this movie was act as a writing desk when they were reading the map off his back.
Oh God.
What a racist.
Okay.
And the worst part is, I wish we were making any of this up.
See, I know, because I look at how many people are watching this, and they're probably saying to themselves, nah, this is just no, we are being completely and totally 100% serious. This movie,
We're underselling it.
yeah, exactly. This movie defies description. Seriously.
Especially with his cheesy porno music.
Oh my God, yeah. Between that and between the bits of porno music and the bits of Tangerine Dream, scoring the Black Riders.
The Mystics play there.
Yeah, they had to get the Russian John Anderson.
So this is when we get to talk about the best part of the entire movie. One of the best parts of the entire movie. When Gandalf is retelling the tale of his encounter with Saruman. And escaping on the eagle.
Oh my God.
You mean
that
the moth?
was like Muppet Show worthy.
The moth and him flapping his arms.
Okay. And I think they really captured the look of Saruman. With because I could have sworn I saw that guy at a Judas Priest concert 30 years ago with the slick back hair and the chrome and every other goddamn thing. I
was speechless when I saw Saruman. I really was. I'm like, wait, what? That's Saruman with the band on his head, and then he's talking about how he's gonna take over the world, and there's little orcs dancing in front of him.
Oh God, yes. Anyone who ever has thought that the Eagles could have just flown Gandalf and everyone else to the finale, watch this. You will never question it again.
What I like too was Saruman talking basically how rich they were going to be. It was just like he had just turned into a Russian oligarch.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's another little bit of Russian I think they stuck into the movie.
No one can stand against the.
Go.
Okay. No one can stand against the combined powers of Stalin and Lenin. Duh.
So is this movie why Ramius left?
Yes.
Probably, yes.
Andy Campbell says
MT.
the eagle was astounding.
Yes, that's going on the big screen.
Yeah, and that that eagle, kind of like the that CGI chicken with the bugged out eyes, completely
Yeah.
disjointed wings. So you had somebody holding the eagle's head at the front of the camera, somebody else flapping the wings behind it, and then you had Gandalf behind the flapping wings, flapping his arms for some reason because he was helping with the lift and velocity of the eagle leaving Isengard.
Dude.
Oh, it was.
I saw that. I was thinking of the Giant Claw, if anyone's seen that movie. And somebody's laughing, so yeah, you've seen the Giant Claw. That's
Wasn't that an old black and white like science fiction?
yes. Go
I think didn't
Google.
they do it on Mystery Science Theater 3000?
No, they didn't do that, but it's on Tubi. And
Was it
yeah.
Rift Tracks? Because I know I've seen that on one of the.
Yeah, it's a Rift Tracks. It's not a MST, but yeah, it's.
Farmer.
I'm at a loss for words. Really?
Yes, the
Dude,
eagle
you know what-
rendered us all speechless.
When you said that the other day, Vincent, all of a sudden when I was watching the second half, all I could think of was the dude playing Boromir trying to sell me a Volga.
Exactly. He looks like he used a lot of salesmen.
Yeah.
This will do 300 hectares on 1 quart of kerosene. And then
This
slaps
bad
the roof.
boy can get you from Rohan to Mordor. No problem, comrade.
This
Just-
bad boy could carry so many babushkas.
Just put it in H. Crazy Vaclav. It's like, where does this car come from? That this country does not exist anymore.
This movie is why we destroyed the Soviet Union.
They weren't really subtle about Boromir's eventual betrayal either. Like right from the moment he's introduced, every once in a while you'll see him just kind of give this glare at the screen.
Yeah, if
Because it's
he,
fading, he's just and there's nothing going on. He's just glaring at the screen.
no, if he had Gandalf's mustache, he would have been twirling it. Seriously, 'cause you could see this coming from the moment he stepped on screen. He's like, "Yep, okay, he's gonna do it."
We're also introduced to Legolas in this scene,
Yay!
or as we will refer to her now, Leggy Lass.
Leggy Lass. Yes.
Okay, I got to go off on this one.
No,
Okay,
please do. We've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Go mad, lad.
Some of us in this room and maybe listening are old enough to have, I don't know, been a teenage boy in the 80s. And maybe MTV was just playing for the first time on your TV. And this wonderful band comes on with a video. And that you find out the band's name is Culture Club. And you look at the screen going, huh, that lead singer, she's kind of cute. Then you go to about the year, then you go about the year 2010 and realize, okay, first off, that was a guy. And apparently that guy had some offspring because now that offspring is playing Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones. And then you come and watch this from the 90s and going, am I sexually aroused by Legolas or not, to the point where I had to ask Orty in DM going, is this a chick? Is that really a chick? Because I don't want to be even remotely interested in Legolas, but it's a chick.
Do you really want to hurt me?
And I'm finding myself staring at Legolas going,
hurt you.
yeah, I'm looking at Legolas going, well, okay, I'd do him.
This
Do
is
you want to make Elven Prince cry?
And Legolas, was that a ski sweater she was wearing?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Or an ugly Christmas sweater. I couldn't.
Yeah, something you could wear on the slopes or to your grandmother's Christmas party. Either way.
Or to go destroy a big piece of tacky jewelry.
We haven't talked about the ring yet.
Saving the best for last.
Seriously,
Holy shit.
I had to rewind because I wasn't sure if that was a dude or a chick. And I actually paused it until I heard back from Ordy, since I knew he was further ahead in viewing than I was.
Because he wasn't about to watch that film and get aroused if it wasn't a girl.
I wasn't going to have an awkward
me-
wank. So
Fool me once in '83, never again. Never again.
So
MD, to be fair, sometimes it's hard to tell whether Legolas in the Jackson films is a chick.
Yeah, that's going
Yeah,
on
they
the
did a
big
lot of
screen.
gender bending with all the male elves in the Jackson flick.
So when I accidentally almost talked about Legolas too early, back at the earlier part of the
Oh, we forgive you.
show,
Don't worry about it.
what I was saying was, I guess I think it was from that review that you and I watched, Doherty, but I think he said that the woman is the director's daughter, and
Yeah.
that's why she was in the film, and that's probably why she also got no lines in the film. She's just there to say, "Hey, I'm Legolas. I have a tinfoil sword."
Oh my God, the
Really?
swords. Oh my
she
God.
at least had more lines than Gimli because, and when I say lines, is she cried when, but
Yeah,
that's
reaction shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
reaction. Where Gimli wasn't even afforded that.
They did.
Gimli
They didn't
is
even-
stand there. We need 9. That's your job.
They didn't even give him the malt beer line. I mean, come on.
Nope.
Meat ripe off the bone.
Borscht ripe off the beat.
Where is sour cream?
God, this movie.
And potato vodka.
Oh, it was also, speaking of the horses earlier, that they only could have 3 at a time. Like, since they never actually showed 9, like right before they left the Council of Elrond, he actually has to announce that. He's like, "There's 9 of you because actually there are 9 riders.
Right. Why did they
We didn't show you 9 riders, but trust me,
Oh,
there's 9. So there's 9 of you."
Oh, Jesus. Okay, for those of you in the audience noticing these long, awkward pauses, it's just this film was
PTSD.
Yeah, this film was an emotional experience that
Yeah, a lot of emotions died.
I know that like I said, most of you know I'm a fan of bad cinema, but usually when I'm talking about bad cinema, I can recommend movies because they have some redeeming qualities. Whether or not it's an actor that you're familiar with, or a particular performance, or some really bad special effects. There's usually one constant in these movies. This film is just everything is bad. Not just one specific thing. Everything.
And we
is
haven't even
bad.
touched the green screen effects.
Exactly. And yeah, I said before, it looks like a labor of love for the people who made it. But it's not a labor of love to watch. It is something to be endured, preferably with friends and preferably with a great deal of alcohol.
This movie pissed me off so much that I was cursing Simo Haya his name because apparently he missed 10 to 15 shots.
Ooh, he went deep on that one. Plus 10 for Jeff. Dude, I'm going to up your Reddit score for that one.
Your Reddit karma is huge for that. Something else we forgot to mention too. This whole thing was filmed in videotape, but not like the good late 80s videotape. This was colorized dark shadows with Russian knockoffs of Chinese VHS tape recorders. That's
Yeah, it's because you watch the like the old English, the British science fiction shows, like Doctor Who and UFO and all that stuff. And when you had external shots, they always used film, but when you went indoors and did that, they always went to videotape. And this is just like one long, very bad. The video quality. The video quality is it's abysmal.
See, when somebody made the comment about J.J. Abrams too, because every candle in this, every light source that was naked and exposed had lens flare all over the place, and not like good lens flare. It was
there is no good lens flare.
That prism, that cardinal point prism coming off of every light source to the point where it would actually obscure the actors on the screen. Like if they were holding a candle, it would wash out the actor and then have that 4-point prism coming off the candle.
And when you look at how many lens flares they have in this, I know J.J. Abrams got to start with Don Dohler, the horror film director from Baltimore, but I disagree. I think he got to start in the Soviet Union in the late 90s.
He watches this film when he masturbates at night.
Right.
Jesus.
Not wrong. And for him, not even a challenging wank.
There is difficult, but not impossible.
So the Fellowship is leaving Rivendell.
Which is good because it means that the end of the movie is getting closer and closer.
And talk about green screen.
Wait, there was something between Rivendell and Moria that was
I forgot.
a moment. Because they had some encounter.
Oh, the wargs. Was that the wargs?
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
that's what that was.
People with little wolf hats on their head?
Yeah, the people with like wolf skulls.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And they were
I
doing
thought it was
like
an alligator. I'm like, what the fuck are alligators doing in here?
And
I had no idea either what that was supposed to be.
they're doing like this weird like horsey movement, like performance artists when they like wave their hands in front of them and they go "Rrr," and or like that one episode of what is it, Plato's Stepchildren, where William Shatner imitates the horse. That's it. That's it in a nutshell.
It's like the Eaters of the Dead from 13th Warrior, but their parents had way too much aspirin, and it was just a collection of Down syndrome wearing funny hats,
And not the hot Down syndrome. No.
Jesus. Oh God. Oh.
Wait, was that one of the comments we were promised before?
Yeah, folks. If you want to leave right now, we do not blame you.
Okay,
I'm
I'm looking at the big board and I see that 512 people are watching this show, and I have to be saying at this point, why? But I know why, because we're giving away a watch in 15 minutes. But yeah, okay. I'm glad you're staying with us, though.
You're just going to have to listen to us talk about sexy gender-bending Legola.
In that hot Christmas sweater.
Okay, so that was the wargs. Okay. That
Oh my God.
suddenly that's a little more understandable, because they went from that straight into Moria. They actually spent more time on that than they spent in Moria.
Yeah.
They spent what, maybe 3 minutes in Moria?
Yeah.
Slightly more than 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The torch and candle fun ran out in Moria.
Yeah. And can we talk about the fight choreography?
We cannot.
we can.
Yeah, because basically I've seen little kids fight with foam swords with much more skill and grace than
Well, nobody
what I
wanted to
saw in
bend
film.
their tinfoil sword. It wasn't reinforced with anything. It's not like they took a construction stake and wrapped it in tinfoil like we did. This is Soviet Russia. They just had the tinfoil.
Someone just said, "Put it in H." That's
Possibly some cardboard underneath, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no. The Soviets saved cardboard for the big productions.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Hey, Boromir with his leg kicks, man.
1, 2,
He was
3,
kicking
4.
some ass.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Boromir
I
and
never
his
know.
Gondorian Krav Maga. Yeah.
Like, it's like a really
Karate is
I
the
don't-
Dane Cook of martial arts.
It was the short bust East Side Story.
Oh my god.
Well, the best part about the fight for me is that, okay, first of
was a-
all,
it was-
spoilers for anybody who's planning on watching this film, and God knows why, but there is no Balrog. Okay, it just shows Gandalf fighting a bunch of orcs, and then the rest of the Fellowship moves on, and they're like, "Hey, what happened to Gandalf?" And Aragorn is like, "He must have died.
Yeah.
We have to move on."
I think
was
we lost him.
actually very sore. I was very sore that I was like, what kind of train wreck are they going to pull out for this Balrog? And we were denied it.
Disappointed. Well, the funny thing is the sequencing in that 3 minutes of screen time or less. So you have Gandalf surrounded by the orcs. Then they're all crossing a bridge together. No, wait. Then they all leave. And then Gandalf is crossing the bridge with them. And then
right.
suddenly Gandalf disappears.
Yeah.
Where's
That's
Gandalf?
right,
He was
he
just
was.
fucking here.
Because he missed the turn, obviously.
It reminded me, you remember those Scooby Doo's where they'd all be running through the different doors?
Same
God,
hallway,
yes.
different doors. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Half
but-
expecting them to hide off somewhere and make a sandwich.
Gandalf died on the way back to his home planet.
Yay!
Oh, god damn you. Oh, Jesus.
Let's
This
just
is when
face
we
it,
finally
Gandalf
get to
voted
like,
against
we'll
Putin.
speak. Well, not speak so much as just weep with everybody else.
Yes.
And thankfully, Frodo has that snazzy polka dotted tie to constantly wipe his eyes with when he cries.
Yes.
You mean that ascot thing?
Yeah. Overgrown bow tie. I don't know what the fuck that was. I'm not cultured in Russian fashion to.
Yeah, we skipped the class on Russian ceremonial ligature. Yes.
Russian hobbit.
Oh my god.
And then
So about the
here's
ring.
the other awkward pause where we're all trying to digest what we
Yeah.
saw.
So yeah, that happened. And
You know what? This isn't so much a podcast as an after accident report.
yeah, this is seriously.
How the hell am I supposed to do a show in 40 minutes?
You've got to brain dump the rest out.
Yeah, we just gotta power through it. Let's just
Yeah.
get this shit out of the way, then we'll do the giveaway, and then Jeff can do his thing. So
Well,
let's go.
Well, fortunately, we're at the end because we are now in. Sleep, sleep.
Sleep.
oh,
Beep.
yes.
Once again, they're all put
Well-
to sleep by elves.
Or
coven of
something.
witches.
Yeah. Yeah, with like the green screen in the background is constantly flashing like different trees and everything like that as these elven women are dancing around playing flutes.
Were
and
they
it's
all
like-
women?
I don't know.
Let's say most of them were. A few questionable
Maybe.
ones in there.
Maybe I
I was pretty
I-
sure somebody got date raped in that scene.
yeah, that was that got
Yes.
a bit that got a bit dark. That got
A
a bit
couple of
dark.
them might have been refugees from Chernobyl.
Yeah, I
Well, my
I mean,
penis
I
fell
know
off.
one that was the least coordinated and tripping over everything. That was a woman.
Yeah. Yes.
I had questions about the one. There was one dark-haired one. I was like, I'm not so sure
Yeah.
that you aren't, packing a Leah Thomas down there, buddy.
Well, see, that's the thing. Somebody had mentioned before that the people who were doing the Lothlorien scene were members of a ballet company, a local
Oh, that
ballet
was in the
company.
Oh, right.
And well, in Russia, ballet was an accepted form of artistic expression for men as well. So usually in a ballet company in Russia, men outnumber the women.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were probably a great deal of men in
And
that
we're
production.
probably using the term men in this instance a little loosely.
It's the same
Yeah,
reason why I was so comic just to meet chicks.
Men, there's chubby Galadriel.
Oh my
No.
God.
No,
before-
it was Bette Midler. It was Bette Midler,
Bette Midler.
Russian Bette Midler.
That swan
So-
boat wailed when she stepped on it.
going out of sequence on this part real quick.
In
When
Soviet.
the,
Oh, go
the, the
ahead.
little test with Frodo giving her the ring. What's the future she sees? You've got, great and horrible, terrible queen, or no, just weeping on a throne in the future.
Right.
That's what she saw. Holding the ring in her hand, just like she's holding it right now, weeping on the throne in the future.
I
And
think my favorite scene in the movie, though, even better than the eagle, is the mirror of Galadriel in this movie.
It's-
We can't talk
It's
right now
so-
because we're laughing too hard.
In Soviet Lothlorien, there are no reversalism proverbs, only vodka and misery.
Soviet Sauron reminded me of fucking Fishbulb, Mr. Lucky, or what the detergent from The Simpsons.
Oh, Mr. Spacker!
Mr. Sparkle! There you go, Fishbulb.
Yeah, there's your answer, Fishbulb. So it's just an eye. It would, for some reason, the water was red because reasons.
Join me
And
or die.
You just have Sauron's eye while he's screaming, and he's screaming like a elderly Japanese man who has just been disrespected, but in Russian. And
Imahashi Homorogo desune, Mr. Spacker!
Let's give Sauron a little sympathy. He was forced to watch the 1980s Olympic prior to filming that scene.
Oh, Jesus.
that was a
Did he
serious
at
case.
one point say, "Give me the ring" by just putting it in the bowl?
Yeah, put it in the water.
Put the ring in the mirror of Galadriel and I'll get it somehow.
Stick it in!
Sounds like prom night.
Oh God, just stick it in.
Show hole.
Oh, God.
No! Oh!
And this is like, there's only like 5 minutes left in the movie, so I actually almost turned it off at this point because I'm like, the whole Boromir thing is going to be a letdown after that, and it kind of was.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, you weren't wrong. I think at this point the best part of the film was the closing credits.
I don't think there were credits in the two-part version we watched.
Really?
Yeah, there were. There were.
I think
Oh,
there
were
were.
I-
They
gave
might
up.
not have been the full credits. There were some that started out. It might have gotten cut
Yeah.
off. I'm not sure.
Show
Just
credits.
Warmer. Oh no, arrows.
Show credits.
Yes. So Boromir tries to sell Frodo a car. He won't buy it, and he runs off with Sam holding hands on 2 horses. And
And,
Yeah,
and
that's the
riding
movie.
I have never
Riding off.
empathized more with Boromir than watching this movie going, oh God, someone shoot me 9 times, please.
Right.
Right. Uh,
But Orty, what about your favorite character?
What's that?
What about your favorite character in this? The Ring.
Oh God. So Russian Elvish script, which was just basically looked like block letters, but you never really could get a good look at the ring. Because again, the lens flare combined with the cosmoline wiped all over the screen, the lens, and it looked like bad spray. Like if somebody had made a ring out of like, I don't know, some industrial component they had found in some trash heap, wrapped it in tinfoil, and then spray painted it gold so they could make sure that the writing showed up. That's my take on the Ring of Omnipotence.
Yeah, it looked like the aiming sights on a T-34 tank from World War II.
Right.
Painted gold with some etching and not one ring to rule and one ring to one ring. Just it was yeah, that and there was at least 5 different finger fucks on that ring.
yes. It was always very slow whenever somebody put the ring on. There was something going on there.
Oh yeah.
It was like the middle school documentary you would watch about how to put on a condom.
Except I kept expecting here
with Aquarius doing the soundtrack. I'm surprised it didn't.
I have come to clean your pool, but I do not have pool.
So, something else we got to talk about. The set exteriors for they were just basically kind of like Lego sets that would have been kind of a little melted. You know, when they were like showing the outside of Moria, the outside of
Oh yeah, Parador was
yeah. It's like if Soviets had Legos, whatever their Lego version was that had been melted a little bit.
Yeah,
And mixed with some play school toys melted a little bit too, just kind of thrown in there.
In the Soviet Union, Legos melt you.
Dude, you remember when they were first arriving at the city of the Galadrim, and it was it really looked like that, like somebody looking through a keyhole at like a little tiny Christmas village.
Yeah.
And you could only see one building, and first of all, the elves don't really have buildings there. I mean, they kind of do, but not houses like this one. But it was like, and again, like you said, soft focus, Vaseline smeared all over the lens so you could barely see it. But I'm like, why are they looking through a keyhole?
There's a scope.
Scope. Aragorn's binoculars.
Yeah.
Or Legolas, as I should say, I guess. Legolas, what do your elf binoculars see?
Like you asked.
Russian Lord of the Rings, everyone. Yeah.
Go credits.
Roll credits. No, explosion. Slow walk. Thin. Fade to black.
If anybody in the chat hasn't seen it, really don't punish yourself, but I'm putting the link that I shared earlier. It's like a 16-minute review of the movie, and it's really funny. Yeah. And it'll capture all the stuff we talked about tonight. So that's worth watching. That 16 minutes. Don't watch 2 hours of this.
Yeah, don't do it, please.
But if you really want to get the full experience of USSR Tolkien, the narrator who did narrate, you got to watch the whole.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the Gary Oldman, Ron Swanson guy.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly who he fucking looked like. But anyway, Russian Lord of the Rings, everybody.
It happened.
And yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing that happened. So now, before we go off the air for the evening, I promised everyone that we would be giving away a very lovely timepiece. Now I'm going to turn on the camera, and I'm going to let everyone take an opportunity to look at this. If I can find the camera button.
You
There
were
we go.
almost as fucking sexy as Vanna White.
Ooh. This is a Swiss Legend Conqueror wristwatch. Bronze, kind of. Brown dial. Has a 26 millimeter olive toned Zulu strap.
What's that in freedom fractions?
I have no fucking idea, but it's big. You put it on the wrist here, and I'll show you, which is why I'm giving it away, because it's a bit too large for me. So it's got a fresh battery. Everything's all cleaned up on it. It's good to go, and it's free. So what I would like everyone in the chat to do, I don't know how many people we have in the chat. I know we have 500 people watching, but if some of y'all want to hop into chat, I'm going to give everyone an opportunity. I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 100. The first person to reach a number that I have picked will win the watch. And once that happens, I want you to get in touch with me on Twitter or X, and we'll go ahead and make arrangements to have it delivered to you. So let's go ahead and start.
And show hole.
Show hole. Start guessing, people, from 1 to 100. Pick a
If I
number.
were an elven queen, I would cry on a throne wearing that watch.
And yeah, we've got a ripper-on response.
All right.
Start
Well,
typing
there's
numbers,
also
assholes.
a full.
Okay, here we go. We got one. Nope, not
I'm
it.
checking my chat too.
Not it.
Yeah, there is a like a 1 or 2 minute delay. That really screwed me up the other night. Last night when we were doing the Mandela effect, when Rick back and forth.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll give him a few minutes.
A couple of guesses in there now. So if we don't get there by the time we end, we just give it to the closest guess.
Okay, I'm going to key in the number in the members chat here so you guys remember.
I'll remember.
Okay.
So how long would this movie haunt you guys?
Forever.
Yeah, there's no forgetting. As Joaquin Phoenix said in 8mm, there are things you see that you can't unsee.
There's not enough liquor in therapy
No.
to help me get over this movie.
But but it has inspired me that when season 3 of that other show comes out, I might have to go, well, it could be worse.
Oh, God.
Oh, the season 3 that nobody
Yes,
asked for.
yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're committed to that thing still.
Well, they signed on for 5, so I guess they have to do it.
They're committed to it because Jeff Bezos wanted his Game of Thrones. That's why they're committed to it. And what Jeff says goes. Yeah, we'll put that on the big screen. We'll let everybody know. Dave O'Toole from the Emerald Isle. Thank you for showing up, brother man. It's late, man. Go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can guess more than once.
Guess as many times as you'd like.
Guess as many times as you like, from 1 to 100. We've already got a number. We're looking for that number to show up. The first person who guesses the number correctly will win the watch. And like I said, you get in touch with me via Twitter/X, and I'll get some contact information from you, and we will go ahead and send it.
Now they're all just sending, like 4 people are just sending numbers, just block.
Sure.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's fun.
This is audience participation. Plus, this
Just so
is
you know,
A little something.
420 is not a number between 1 and 100.
Go ahead. Yes. Do not say 420. But yeah, this is a little thank you to the audience, and we'll be doing this. I have plenty of watches that I don't wear anymore, so I think we'll probably do this once a month.
Well, keep guessing, folks.
Yeah, because watching numbers come on the screen is infinitely better than what we had to sit through for 2 hours.
Oh,
Yes.
God, yes.
And I can't believe we're going to do it again for The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
No,
I know
yeah,
everybody
but I
knows.
think what we want to try and do is see if we can get a video feed.
If you can put me up on screen when we do that, I can have it set up within minutes.
That
Oh,
would
cool.
be amazing. And we can do just a whole riff thing of it and have everybody participate.
Uh-oh.
People are dancing
Oh,
around it.
okay.
Oh, people dancing around it, getting close.
Yeah.
Getting close.
No,
And they're
I saw
dancing-
the restream alert. I was like, uh-oh, what hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, their dancing is a lot better than what was in the movie too. So
Yeah. We were talking about the Fruit of the Looms thing last night on Juxtaposition. They dance better than
yeah, they did.
That Australian breakdancer danced better than this movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, let's not get crazy.
No, I think he actually has a point.
Yeah, I'm trying to find fault with that comment, and I'm not finding it.
Y'all are getting close. Getting close.
Almost there.
Stay on target.
Can we can we get footage of them putting on the watch like we saw them putting on the ring in the movie?
Oh, God, I certainly hope so.
With lens flare, obviously.
You got to
You'll
use
have
the
to
lens.
go to Goodwill and get an old VHS recorder.
Lens flare and a tub of Vaseline.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh, you people are getting close.
I know, right? It's
Gonna do the line from Wrath of Khan. Like a poor marksman, you keep missing the target.
Don't get me started about that SETI Alpha 5 then.
This is SETI Alpha 5.
Okay, first of all, we got the captain and the first officer going away on the away mission. What? Never mind. I'm not-
Yeah, exactly. See if
I say
Pavel
go
had,
off, Woody, while we're waiting for the number.
if Pavel had stayed behind, everything would have been fine.
Yeah.
Y'all are making me cry.
So many
like
instances
Elven
where that
Queen
was
on the
true.
throne.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Y'all are making me cry like an elven queen on the throne.
Oh, dude, I've never had my ribs hurt so much during an episode
This was just magic.
because you fuckers were killing me. Oh, come on, you people are getting so close. You're dancing around it.
Should we do like hot cold?
No, I don't
because
want to
the
help.
delay would be messed up.
Yeah, the delay wouldn't work.
I'm amazed we got like a dozen people in chat.
We
singing
got
the-
it.
Oh, there we go. We got it.
We got it.
47. 47.
47.
47
Pick
is the
card.
winner. H car.
4. Not to be confused with the other 3 H cars.
H car. You want it? You got it, brother. You got it. Well, that wasn't the number, but you guessed 47. And they're still going. Well,
there's a minute delay.
You have a second watch?
That one we're going to give away next month.
All right.
Okay, 47. H car. Mr. Carr, contact me on Twitex.
Twix.
Twix. Oh, that's
Why does nobody call it Twix? Everybody calls it X or it's Twix.
No, we're calling
I
it Twix from now on. Okay.
Twix,
I like
isn't that Legolas? Or that's Twink. I'm sorry.
That's Twink. Yes.
Twink.
Yeah.
twink.
I like this
Okay.
Twix. I like Twix.
Oh, we all do.
It's the only candy bar with a cookie crunch.
Oh, that's bullshit. There's Kit Kats.
I
Yeah.
know.
I miss the peanut butter Twix.
Oh, those are good.
I miss the mozzarella Twix.
They got
I saw somebody made a meme. It was like Twix bars, but it was mozzarella cheese. So yeah.
I'd fucking wreck that.
Oh, dude. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Russian Lord of the Rings. And we've got the
Let us
giveaway
never
done.
speak of it again.
Let us never speak of it again, yes. We'll go down the list. Shit. Hang on, let me move this over here. Get everything set up. And Ultra Soviet Biker Dad, where can we find you, my friend?
Y'all can find me on Twitter at Ultra Grizzly Biker Dad. My @ is another homocon. Mostly politics, memes, and shit posting. And it's always been a pleasure. And Vincent, you owe me whole picks for this.
I will go buy some donuts right now. Orty, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me as Ordnance Packard, surprisingly still on Twix. You can find me. I got a variety of podcasts this week. Just keep an eye out.
Sweet. Jeff, where can we find you, good sir?
In about 20 minutes with the Lost Wonder podcast, where I talk rocketry, space, and science.
Fucking
and
A.
Other places eventually. So that's next. So we'll just go for that.
Sweet. And Calvin, where can we find you, sir?
Yes, I am Grateful Calvin on Twix. Under my @ is Shove It Jack. And you can also find me writing for Twitchy pretty much every day. Also Grateful Calvin, but all of our writers are awesome. You should read them all.
Outstanding. And I will do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yes That V Charles at Twix. You can find me shitposting, posting memes. You can also find me here every Sunday evening. And then you can also find me Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern with Rancor Steve on his Manorama podcast, along with Orly Paggard on occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I'd like to thank all of my panelists for enduring what is quite possibly one of the worst films ever made and actually living to tell the tale. But
Sends that description.
exactly. And for everyone who joined us this evening, I appreciate every single thing about every single one of you and hope to see you next week. Thank